Hey folks, today we're going to be talking about some electrical issues, lighting on the 1025R. Specifically, we're going to be getting these lights up here wired up. We're going to talk about wiring up the wiper, but I probably won't get it wired today. I'm waiting on a connector that I need to get. But there's several lighting issues we want to deal with. While we're at it, I think we'll talk a little about the accessory lights that you could get from John Deere, as well as some other options. Stay tuned. First thing is my heater smoked up on me again. Well, it didn't light, just like I've said before, sometimes it doesn't light with the number 2 diesel. So I had to put my, somebody called it a pony heater behind it. Yeah, I had to heat up the intake air and get it to light. Oh, I'll show it to you. The thing is, I have to open the door here because, well, the heater didn't light and I tried it 3 or 4 times. Usually if you try it, say, more than twice, once it does light, it smokes up the place, and it did. It's all hazy in here and smoky, so I've had to open up the big door over here. That kind of makes the heat less efficient. But once I get warmed up a little bit, I'll be ready to get started. Okay, good news for me, maybe bad news for the image quality. The sun's out this morning and shining right in here. Maybe it's helping to warm things up a little bit. So let's talk first about the original cab lighting kit. It comes with a switch. It's intended to be hot wired directly to the battery, and then you use a switch right up in the top of the cab to actually switch it. Well, naturally I wouldn't want to do that. I want to do something different. I want to use my regular light switch to control it. I don't want to have a separate switch that I'll forget and leave on and then run the battery down, whatever. So the easiest place to do this is back on the back of the tractor. A 1023E is a little bit different than a 1025R. It does not come with some of this wiring standard, but the 1025R is pre-wired back here for an accessory lighting kit. Turns out to be these lights up here. We'll talk about those a little bit more in a minute. Well, and the rear light. But because it's pre-wired for that accessory wiring kit, we can make that work for what we want to do. From the factory, the 1025R comes with these little barrel connectors covered. Just like this. They're all zip tied down real tight. They're not this easily accessible, but they are right in here, just right in this area here. So you can get those, take those covers off, and when you take those covers off, you get these little bullet connectors. They're regular bullet connectors, but they're bigger than the ones that are probably the most common, the ones at Menard. I like how the lighting changes. Look, when I hold my hand up, that's pretty cool. Maybe I hold my hand just there. Hey, look at that. That's about, now I'm red-faced. This episode is about lighting. I got these at AutoZone. They're called bullet terminals, 0.176 inches, okay? So they are a standard connector. I think this costs $2.99, which is probably triple the price it ought to at AutoZone. But they fit fine into the factory connectors that I just showed you. That's the purple and black wire here. These wires are controlled by the light switch up front, so they're only hot when the switch is on. Okay, so we decided to install the accessory lights that I had on my previous 1025R at the same time that I'm doing this project. And the reason is because we're working in the same area, so we might as well get that. Now, a part of the accessory lighting kit is this splitter here. Again, it's got one male and one female bullet connector, but it splits into 2 sets of the same. When you get the accessory lighting kit from John Deere, you get 2 of these splitters. Since there's only one set of cables coming back here, you have a light on either side, you definitely need a splitter. It's nice to have 2 sets of the splitters because then that allows you to have the rear light as well. So I went on jdparts.com to see if I could find the part number for just the splitter, because I really want one more split so that I can run the 2 lights on the front. Just the splitter was $34, so I decided I could make my own. I'm going to cut away here for a moment to explain some confusion I had while shooting this episode. I distinctly remember my 2014 1025R
having two sets of bullet connectors, one for each side of the ROPS. On this machine I could only find one set right here on the left. I could not find the matching right-hand set. So I decided to go to jdparts.com and see if I could see any changes between the two major revisions of 1025R. The original 1025R parts diagram has a section marked electrical, number 40. Drilling into that, I then select the rear wiring harness section. Sure enough, it looks like there were two sets of those bullet connectors, at least on the 2014 version. Switching to the 2018 and later version, I can't seem to find the electrical wiring harnesses. I was able to find a breakdown of the accessory lighting kits by selecting OV Overview and then OV5 attachments here. This is very helpful. It's a place where you can find the part numbers as well as the part breakdown in each of the attachments available for the 1 Series. So while this didn't clear up all of my confusion, I did see that the lighting kit has 2 of those splitters.
So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to make one of these splitters. The original lighting kit was supposed to come with 2 of these, and I only found 1. Now I took this off my prior 1025R. It makes me think I probably left one of the splitters on it. So because of that, we're going to need to make one with an extra plug on it. Most of the haze seems to be gone now, so I think I'll close the door. Okay, I've cut a couple of strips of my 14 gauge wire here, and what I'm going to attempt to do is probably not by the book. I've never done that before, have I? But I'm going to attempt to put 2 of these wires into one connector. I'm going to have to trim it shorter than that to make it happen, that's for sure. I maybe should have got 16 gauge wire to make this happen. Okay, there's that. Before I go any further, I'm just going to put some heat shrink over that. Oh yeah. Look at that. Okay, here's our first splitter. This one's really long because I knew I needed an extra long one for the wire that comes from the original tractor cab. It wasn't quite long enough. We need another one just like that. I need this second one because I think I left a necessary part on my previous 1025R when I took the lighting kit off of it. I'm going to try again to get both of these wires into one bullet connector. It may not be possible, but I'm going to try it. Well, it seemed like it worked. I bent the bullet a little bit. I didn't bite the bullet, I bent the bullet. Boy, that sure is a lot cleaner than that approach. So this one is a male to 2 females. This one is a female to 2 males. I did such a good job on these without this other connector that I think I'm just going to cut this off and redo it the same way. I'm pretty sure I'm able to get those 2 wires to hold into the back into that connector good enough to do the job. So I'll just cut them right here. Strip them a little bit. Line them together. I'll start that by hand. I'm about out of the 1/4 inch heat shrink. I kind of like running out of stuff though. That means I get a cheeseburger break, you know? Okay, sorry for the shadows. Here's the final set of connectors that I've got. This is 1 pair, 1 male and 1 female to 2 males, 2 females. See how that goes? And this one is more unique. We only need 1 of them. And it's still a splitter, but one of the cables is longer, and I'm using that for the original tractor cab light. Okay, let's mount them. Before we connect these auxiliary lights, we actually have to get the wire down through the ROPS. And that's not easy. There's just no way you can force a wire like this down through the ROPS. Let's take a look at how this works. Again, this is off of the old Johnny. Notice the Artilian blinders that you see. These are a set of brackets. I think they're called brush guards. I highly recommend them because otherwise you're going to break your lights off and they'll look like this even when they're not taken off the tractor. I've actually loosened mine. No, they aren't broken yet on this machine, although I did break them on the last Johnny. You can go check out that episode. But the brush guard here is required to mount the light on. Some people mount their additional accessory lights way up on top of the ROPS. I really like them mounted over here on the side. And that is because I don't have to worry about the ROPS being down or up, and it's just, to me, just having them on the ROPS is just not something I'm wanting to do. So this mounting location works very well. It's also great for the power because the power does run right in the same spot as the parking lights. This accessory light kit is available in two forms. You can get it with standard halogen lights, I think they're called. But anyway, standard incandescent lights, or you can get them with LED lights. The LED ones are very expensive. The incandescents are much less expensive. One way to handle this is to get the incandescent kit so that you can get the wiring, okay, including the wiring that we just made, and then you can actually replace the actual lamps with lamps of your choice. And I think we may do that at some point, but for now, I'm going to put on the original light kit. I've already ran several of the wires down the ROPS. I had to run them one at a time. I tried running them together and pulling them all together, and I couldn't make that work. It was just too much of a wad. So I pulled these wires one at a time. There's two wires each, two wires for the front-facing light and two wires for the one reverse-facing light. That's an additional kit, by the way. So I've taken some heavy wire that I've got. I think it's probably maybe number 9 wire, maybe 9 gauge wire. It may be 12 gauge wire, I'm not sure, but Mary and I are going to work to try to get this last one pulled. I run it up the ROPS right here. Yeah. I run it up the ROPS. I'm not sure what Mary's role is, but we'll hopefully figure that out in a little bit. So there's a hole up here that I just feel for this. Yeah, here it goes. The hole is inside and outside, so I can reach through. Hopefully you can see that coming out. Now I just ran the wire right through my little hook that I made here. Tighten that hook back, so see it won't allow that to get pulled beyond my hook. But then I've been using electrical tape, mainly because it's easy to get off, and I just tape around that wire, trying to make it a very gentle angle so that when it pulls down it can fit. If it's real blunt, you won't be able to pull it back down. Hopefully you can see what I mean there. That angle has got to be very smooth or it does not allow it to go down. Okay, here we go. I'll set back down at the bottom and start pulling. And I can pull. Now I'm in that hard spot. See if I can pull it through. I cannot pull it through there. I'm actually going to pull the wire all the way out and thread it up through there again. Maybe it'll hit on another side of the bolt that it's stuck on down there or something. I don't know. This is the 6th wire I pulled. I pulled 4 over here, 1 over here, and I had some trouble on 1 over here, but I thought I'd kind of got onto it. I waited till the 6th one to include recording it, but naturally I would have trouble on that one. Okay, we got it pulled. It's not difficult. It just may not work the first time. You may have to fiddle with it a little bit. Just remain patient. Don't get upset and frustrated because then you'll tear something up. That's good advice for any mechanical project you're working on like this. But you have a good stiff wire, run it up through there, you can pull that wire down. Next step, please. This bracket mounts on the very same bolts that the original warning lights mount on. Sometimes that's easy to get together like it was there, and sometimes it's not. Pull my wires down a little bit more to get rid of some of that slack. Now when you're tightening this, make sure that all those wires are not mashed between the ROPS and either this bracket or the light fixtures themselves. So for that reason, I usually try to snug it up as far as I can by hand. Then I can have a good look at those wires. There's a little gap here in the bracket specifically to allow these light wires to go in there. 13 millimeter on this. It's actually hitting my original cab ROPS mount bracket. As long as it gets snug, that should be fine. Let's wire them together. The auxiliary lighting kit, I'll put the part number below, for the ROPS mounted lights has two of these splitters, as I stated. Now, I've lost one of mine with the other tractor, but this is what it looks like. Two purples, two blacks, and it splits so that it goes into these factory connectors. We'll add our homemade splitter here to split for the far side lights. I've got those two connectors. I ran them around the back side here. So this is the source from the tractor. Here's my first homemade splitter. Half of it's going to go to the lights on the right side of the tractor. The other half of it goes to the lights on the left side of the tractor. However, we've got to add one more splitter to the original tractor cab. So that should be the complete wiring mess that we have to deal with. We'll put it all in a harness here, but first let's test it. Yeah, we'll get it all zip tied and in separate wire looms, etc. in a minute here, but let's test it and see if it works. What do you think, Mary? You think it's going to work? Okay, so I've shown you the auxiliary lighting kit that came with my old 2014 1025R. Now I'm going to show you the LED kit. Very similar. It has the same wiring. Notice the bullet connectors here at the bottom, but it has some different connectors here on the top. These connectors are specific to these lights. G-R-O-T-E. Is it Grote or Grote lights? They're standard lights. 3 of them come in the package. At least came in my package. Now I need to tell you where I got my package. First, you can get your LED lighting package or the standard incandescent lighting package at greenpartsstore.com. You can get free shipping if you'll use code TTWT. I'd really appreciate that. The LED kit, I have the part number right here, BLV10673. It's fairly expensive, and these lights are sort of off the shelf. One approach to handle this, maybe a little more cost effective, is to buy the incandescent kit and use the wiring portions of that, but then replace the lights. And that's how I got my kit here. A viewer actually, who is a lighting distributor, sent me this kit. He wants me to do a test. I haven't got around to it yet, but he wants me to test the Deere kit that he sent me as compared to his lights. These are Whelen lights, W-H-E-L-E-N. These are the only LED lights made in the USA, according to this individual. Let me know if you're interested in that. So the approach would be that you would buy the regular lighting kit, or potentially this viewer would just package up the necessary wiring to make it identical to the Deere lighting kit and sell the whole kit. It'd probably be priced about the same as the Deere kit. We'll have to see how it compares. He sent me 2 different styles of lights, basically lenses actually. These have replaceable lenses, and this is a more flood or further dispersed lens. This is a more tight focus lens. It might be fun to play with these, maybe for another episode. If you have a 1025R, getting an auxiliary lighting kit at least of some sort, either the LED or the standard, probably makes a lot of sense. I'll put the part numbers for both below. I read you the LED one. Get them at greenpartsstore.com. Coupon code TTWT, but the auxiliary lights help a lot. Hope you found this interesting. Now, as far as the original cab, we're almost ready to go. I don't have the windshield wiper wired up yet. I've got a plan on that. I'm going to actually connect it to my TKV20 wiring that I've already got to the back of the tractor. It's going to make it real easy. I won't have to have a separate line to the battery that way. And it's plenty of power for the wiper. And that's really all that's left. Although I kind of have some ideas on that too. I'm thinking I might do some better insulating in the cab. I'm looking to maybe get some cab foam and see if I can tighten up some of those cracks, and who knows, maybe even make it a little bit quieter too. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing that, if you think that would be something fun for us to show on this channel. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.